I had a professional analyze my face to tell me how I should do my makeup, how I should do my hair, how I should balance out my features and what they are exactly. So am I gonna look drastically different from now on? Is this gonna be a big shock or not? Let's find out. Alright, honestly, I've been already playing around a little bit with the tips that she gave me, but I thought it would be fun to kind of like go through the process with you and do my makeup and hair following the tips that have been given to me. And then you can also tell me if you are seeing the difference. Are you seeing it? Do you think this is actually way better than what I did before? The place where I had my facial analysis is called Style Me Jenn. She is a YouTuber. She talks about color analysis. She talks about facial analysis. She talks about like the best hairdos for different face shapes. Like she shares some of her tips on her YouTube channel. I will link it down below as well. But you can also book with her a personal facial analysis. So she will tell you exactly what is going on with your face and features. So that is what I did. So I was actually thinking that I would not be super shocked. I was actually thinking that I was understanding my features and my face shape pretty well. Like I wasn't feeling like it was gonna be something crazy that would come out of it. And I think that is kind of what came true. But there are some interesting things. And also, sometimes you kind of have a feeling about something. You kind of feel like this works better on me than this, but you don't really know why. And I just really wanted to be able to describe what was going on with my face, what was going on with this whole area over here. By the way, I'm not wearing any makeup. I just put my hair in a ponytail so you could see like the starting point. Like this is what we're working with. I just really wanted to be able to understand fully, specifically what was going on with my face. Some things, like, let's go over a few things that I was thinking. I always felt like, okay, I have a pretty square face, but I have pretty, like, plump cheeks. Like, this looks sort of round in a way. I don't have, like, very visible cheekbones. Like, there's a softness about my face as well. And I was kind of thinking, like, am I a true square or should I kind of like look at other things as well? Next to that, I did feel like my brows were suiting my face shape and also my eyes pretty well, but I couldn't really like describe why. I just felt like I think my natural brows are pretty nice. I also felt like because I have quite harsh lines in my face that the natural curls that I have do a job of softening them, and I also have layers in my curls to kind of like soften my face. But I didn't really know like what my true options are in length of hair, and I didn't really know whether like a middle part or a side part would be better for me. I kind of liked both. I kind of did both, and we do have a conclusion about it. So I kind of had a feeling that I knew what I was working with. A thing to note is also, I know that I'm a light summer. I had my color analysis done about 10 years ago. Like, I already knew when I was a kid, like pretty young, that I wanted to have my color analysis done when I was 18 years old. Like that, from that point on, you can kind of like know what your colors are gonna be for your adult life. Before that, like you can maybe have much lighter blonde hair that is gonna turn darker later, so that kind of like skew the results. So I have my color analysis done. I know I'm a light summer, so that is also something that I kind of have to balance with these results, because there are some results that kind of are maybe a little strange to have as a light summer, but I feel like I kind of have to meet in the middle there. Alright, so with Style Me Jenn, you can book an analysis. You have different options. You can book only the hair analysis, you can book only the makeup analysis, or you can do it like together. And you also get these style guides that have kind of like tips and tricks that everybody can use. So you book on her website and then you kind of get this date on which you will get the result. So you book a date, that's a date that you can get a result, and then you get a survey. And there you can kind of like fill in what you think your best features are, what you think your worst features are, or the things that you're a bit less happy with, what kind of like style or way of expressing yourself you want to exude. Like you have like free-spirited, you have glamorous, you have cute and delicate, and there are different options you can choose there as well. You can say what your style icon is. I actually said mine was Zoe Deschanel. Like we don't look alike. She has much darker hair, she has really bright blue eyes. I believe she's a winter as well, so she can wear really like deep cool colors. I am like almost the opposite of her, but we're both in like the cooler side of the spectrum. So what I did say was that I really liked my eyes and my eyebrows. I feel like my chin could be a little bit like sharper. Like you see the square lines, but it could be a little sharper. I just said that in case she could like say something about it. That didn't happen in the end, but I just wanted to give all the information she could possibly work with. And I did say that I think I have a cute and delicate appearance. I mean, the curls, light skin, light eyes, there's just like a lightness, a cuteness about me. But she even explained it further in her analysis, like how it worked, why I exuded that, and why it is a bit harder for me to look more like mature and glamorous. Like that's not really what I exude. It's also the hair. The hair is just a little bit more on the cutesy side. But in the end, I also got some more information of what I actually like look like, which of these style traits I actually have, because it was more than I was thinking. I also asked her if there was a way I could look a little bit more like glamorous without it looking too overdone, like looking not in harmony with my actual face shape and just the way I come across. But that is kind of like the summary of like what I was telling her to focus on, the questions I was asking her, that she could work with. She also asks for like an Instagram or like any social media so she can see what your style is. Like she keeps into account, like she takes into account what your current style is, so she doesn't give you any advice that you wouldn't use anyway, that wouldn't fit you anyway, and it's also just how you come across. So I did actually give her my Instagram, but I did note that I review makeup, and not all of the looks that I do, I believe, are like my optimal looks, like are the best I could ever look, because I'm also just testing product. I'm also just being creative. It's not all about looking the best, but in this instance, I did want to find out what my best is, because if you know what your best is, you can very consciously stray from that, take a step back from that, or you can really consciously lean into that if that is what you're going for. Like it's good to know even if you're not really gonna use it all the time. So I did actually add in a few photos that I thought showed my makeup style the most, like how I like to wear my makeup, how I would wear my makeup if I wanted to review any makeup. So I also thought that that was an important part to add. Alright, I know I've been talking a lot, but I really want to like set this stage so you can understand where I was coming from or where this kind of like started at, and then we can go into the results. Let's get into the results. Alright, so first up we have the information about my general face shape and my features. Then there is the hair part, but I kind of want to do the makeup part first and then do the hair. So the general things that she said about my face is that I have a true square face. It is not a round square, it is not like anywhere in between, it is truly a square face, and I can treat my features as such. I think this is a really important thing to know, because if you Google like square face sunglasses, square face hairstyles, you can actually find a lot of information just by knowing your exact face shape. So I think this is already very valuable information. By the way, none of this analysis is meant to say that there is something wrong with your face, you have to fix your face. The whole point of this is looking balanced. So you can like have a square face and decide to lean into that, or you can kind of like see if you can elongate it a little bit, soften it a little bit with your makeup and hair. So it's really like the decision you can make yourself. But if you want to balance it a little bit, like this is some valuable information. So the next thing is like how balanced are the thirds in your face. So that is this point, like between the hairline and the brows and the tip of the nose, and then like the lower third, like from the tip of the nose to your chin. With me, this was very balanced. Like there's not one part being like much more dominant or longer. The only thing that she said is that because I have a square face and a pretty square hairline, this seems a little bit like catching the attention. But we're gonna get into that with the contouring and with the hairstyle. But this is like a good thing to know. Then we also have the proportions when it comes to the width. My eyes are slightly wide set and they are slightly downturned. She also said that the line from like the ending of my face to the farthest part of this ear is a little longer. She was wondering if it was a photo. No, I have one floppy ear and one normal ear. This is just a very quirky, weird thing about me and my face, and you know, I have accepted it. I think it's actually kind of funny. Like, I am just taking it as it is. Like, this is my floppy ear. All right, then with the eyes and eyebrows, as I said, my eyes are slightly downturned, so that's something that you can kind of like lift with makeup if you want to. My eyebrows are very well balanced with my face. Like, it's good that they have a little bit of an arch. It kind of lengthens the face. Which is what we want with a square face. But she also said that they could be drawn a little higher. I feel like if I apply my eyebrow gel, that already kind of happens. Like, I already draw it a little bit higher. Also because my eyes are slightly wide set, I can emphasize like the middle part, like the parts of my brows towards the middle a little bit, just to make that look a little bit more like closer together. My lips are very balanced. Like, you want this to be 1 and this to be 2, like in the balance, like nothing to say there. And then the neck and shoulders, I apparently have narrow shoulders when it is in comparison to my face. I have very wide shoulders when it is in comparison to my body. Like, my shoulders are the widest part of my body. I am an hourglass, but these just look slightly wider than my hips. So I would say that I'm an hourglass, but I have pretty wide shoulders looking at my body. But looking at my face, because I have a wider face, it's a square face, I have a wider face. In comparison to my face, my shoulders are narrow. So that is something to kind of keep in mind, especially with like the style of hair. And then we also have the visual weight part of this analysis. The visual weight of my face is high. So I never really understood what the visual weight was. Like, I saw it on TikTok, but I thought, is this truly something? Like, is this something we have to worry about? But apparently it is. Like, it does tell you something. So I was kind of like doing some research on visual weight. Like, I needed to know what was going on, because Jenn said I have high visual weight because my eyes, like my features are like larger in my face. Like, I have very apparent large features, like I have large eyes for my face. And that is kind of like the thing with visual weight. If you have small features in your face, then the makeup can kind of like overtake you. It can look heavy very quickly. Then if you have very large features and you apply very light makeup with not a lot of definition, like sometimes that works. It depends kind of like how you do it. At least that is my personal opinion. I feel like I have high visual weight, but sometimes a lighter makeup can work, but also sometimes it can look really weird. I will put up a picture of me feeling like my makeup was looking very, very off, and I feel the reason is because there was not enough definition and it looked weird because I have high visual weight and I did a low visual weight makeup. So it's really about how like large and apparent and kind of like eye-catching your features are in your face. So that means that I can actually wear quite a lot of makeup. And here's the thing where the balancing act with being a light summer comes into play, because light summers cannot really wear darker colors. So I need to add the definition, but with the light summer colors, which means that you are kind of like ideally using light to mid-tone shadows to do your eyeshadow. By the way, there's much more into this analysis, like very specific things, why I look cute and delicate, why there's an energetic energy about me. Like, I don't really know how to explain it without like literally saying what is in this analysis. But so my like energies, what I exude, is cute and delicate, unique and energetic, and natural and free-spirited. I am not elegant and sophisticated, and modern and glamorous. And I've already kind of knew that. Oh wait, she did also say that my visual weight is lowered slightly because I have very like soft features, which I agree. Like that is where the balance comes in. Like I cannot wear like black eyeliner, black smoky eye. Like I'm not that kind of high visual weight. All right, so the vibes, the explanation of the vibes, that was what I was looking for. Sorry I'm talking so much in this video. We're getting into the makeup after this. Okay, so my features make my face look shorter, which makes me look very youthful and delicate. So it's really like my face shape and just like the big round eyes that makes me look very youthful. I agree with that. It's kind of like a deer or something. Like I'm looking like I'm kind of looking like a baby in a way, you know, like with the big eyes. It plays a part in that. I know what I look like. And then, oh yeah, the energetic look. I was looking for the energetic look, what it came from, is my big eyes. And I feel like there's a brightness in my eyes naturally because they are such a like light yet kind of like brighter blue green. Like there is still a brightness in them, and I feel like that is also the reason that I am a light summer and not a soft summer. Like there is a softness in my skin tone and in my hair. Like you look at me, I think she looks quite soft, but I feel like the brightness in my eyes makes it so that really soft colors still look a little off on me. Like they make me look very like muted in total, like they don't make me shine. So I feel like there's still a brightness there because of my eyes. And then my hair is what makes me look like free-spirited, so it's kind of like that bohemian look. It's a little wild, so I get that. All right, we're gonna start with the eyebrow suggestions and we're gonna start doing the makeup. All right, so the angle of my brows should be upward. Well, they naturally are, like they are quite arched. Arch style high and curvature straight. They can be thick, light in color, and the distance can be a little closer. So I'm guessing that this can be a bit more like straight, but this arch should be here, and they are already pretty naturally full. I feel like what she's showing me with the eyebrows is basically what my eyebrows look like when I do my eyebrows. Like she has before and after like edited shots of my eyebrows. So I'm just gonna do my eyebrows, and as I told you, I've been kind of like sneaking in these tips. I've been sneaking them into my looks, my videos, because I kind of wanted to see like how I felt about them, so I could already like tell you something in this video. Sometimes you also kind of like have to get used to things, but I agree fully with her assessment of my eyebrows. Like I've been drawing them in slightly, but the thing is I already have some brow hairs kind of like towards the front here. Like they exist, they're just a little bit more blonde than the rest, so I can put emphasis on them pretty like naturally. I don't have to like imagine them, so I put a little bit more emphasis on the front. And I really like that she did these drawings of what things should look like on you, because then you can just like copy it and immediately see how you like it. And now she said that I could draw my eyebrows a little higher, but I'm just gonna emphasize the length of my face that is basically non-existent. Like we're gonna make the face look longer with eyebrow gel, and I'm gonna brush my hairs up quite a bit. This will already make them look a little higher without having to like draw any hairs that don't really exist. And for some reason I just feel safer doing that. I just feel like that works for me, like staying quite true to the brow shape and hairs. So this is what she basically suggests. I can apply a little bit more brow gel to the front maybe. So the before, the after. It's just a little bit fuller, just a little bit more emphasis over here. Usually I do my brows further on in the process, but we're just like following the advice steps now. Alright, so these are the brows right now. They shouldn't be too dark. I just try to kind of like stick to my hair color. I feel like that works on me. Now they're looking a little crazy, but we're gonna like balance it out with the rest of the makeup. So usually thicker eyebrows, they kind of like shorten the face, but because my forehead just seems a little bit more prominent because of my hairline, it is like fine to do it this way. All right, then we get to the makeup suggestions. The suggestion is to focus eyeshadow on my eyes. The suggestion is to focus on my eyes, like use the most makeup, like make the eyes the most prominent and really like apply a bit of definition with the eyeshadow. And then make the lips a little bit more subtle, which I think is a good suggestion for me anyways, because too dark lip colors just overtake my whole face. So I'm actually like fully agreeing with that. All right, so I'm gonna apply some eyeshadow. I am gonna speed through that a bit because like this is gonna be a long video and it's not really about an eyeshadow tutorial, it's about the end result. So I'm gonna quickly do some eyeshadow. Alright, so this is gonna be the eyeshadow look. So a thing that she said that I could do to look a little bit more glamorous is add a little bit of a line in the waterline. That is something that I never do. So that was a little bit of a shocker for me and something that I'm a little unsure of. It can help with my definition and it can look a little bit more glamorous. I have Senpaku eyes. I'm not familiar with that. Like there are a lot of terms here that I am not familiar with. Like with color analysis, I feel like I know a lot of the information around it. With this, it was pretty new to me. Like the sclera of my eyes appears a little bit more visible along the bottom. Wait, I need to know what sclera is. The white outer coating of the eye. Does it mean I have more eye white at the bottom? Like something like that? But okay, I never do a waterline liner, and when I do, I feel weird. So we're gonna do it, but I feel like this is the type of thing that I wanted to do this analysis for. Sometimes you kind of like have to get out of your bubble. Like you have to see things from a different perspective, someone who hasn't seen you before. Like you look at yourself every day. I don't know, your partner, your sister, they've looked at you so much in your life. Sometimes I also don't really see something that is not going well. All right, I'm gonna use... Oh wait, maybe not. This one. All right, I want to add a liner, but I don't want to make it too like harsh because I just feel like, I don't know, I have to find a way I like it. So I'm gonna actually use this Aero Pop Mauve from Nabla. And we're gonna like use this one to make it not look as harsh. Anything happening? Yeah, it's doing something, but indeed it is quite light. Does this help with anything? Like before and after? It's a little bit more defined, I guess. Let's do it on the other side. I just feel, I feel weird. I have to get used to this. Like it did change something. Maybe I should use a little bit of the darker one as well and just kind of like mix them. So this is the Cupid's Arrow in number 7. This one I've used a ton. Okay, we're gonna mix the shades to get something in between. Yeah, I don't know. I feel weird. But we're gonna do it for this video. For sure. I wanna be glamorous. Look, we have a goal here. I don't know. I do not know. I don't think this is for me. But maybe if I would have just kept it the lighter one, I would have liked that. Like the lighter one was kind of like in between. We're gonna do more of the lighter one. I just feel like this makes me look a little sickly if I use a darker color in my waterline. Okay, this one I like better, the mauve. I feel like I need a little bit of a blend underneath here. Okay, we're gonna do the rest of the makeup and see. Okay, one thing she also said is that I should actually apply mascara on my lower lash line because that kind of like visually makes the face look longer. And something I do have to say with this whole thing, with all of this advice, it kind of like goes against what you learn on TikTok. And I feel like a lot of the TikTok advice is very focused only on lifting the face, but not on anything else. And it's not really focused on any face beside like a perfectly oval face. Like it really focuses on that. And when people give like TikTok beauty advice, they talk about the hacks and everything, I feel like often it's just not at all like for a particular person. And I feel like we're all at this point doing our makeup kind of like in the same way. Like we're all trying to look lifted. We're all trying to do the same techniques, but it doesn't work for everyone. And I kind of feel like if you would do a different technique, people would be like, you know, your blush would look way better when you would do it this or that way. But there are different techniques. There are different ways to work with different kind of face shapes, eye shapes, brow shapes, ways to put emphasis on something or not put emphasis on something. Like there are different ways to approach things. And I feel like a lot of TikTok advice and just following what influencers say, it's not really based on like true like research or knowledge. Like they have also seen this hack somewhere on TikTok. And I am also an influencer. Like I'm not trying to bash influencers, but sometimes like everything is oversimplified a little bit. Like we should all do this trick where you like put your hand on your face and then apply the blush there, but I don't feel like that works for everyone. I don't know. I feel the under eyes look heavy, but we're lengthening with the mascara. I am just gonna take away some of that lower lash line shadow because I just feel like it's too heavy. Like it makes me look a little like it's not going well with me. A little sickly. Okay, we're just gonna do the rest of the makeup and then at the end, like we just have to try it. We just have to try it. By the way, I cannot find now where she said I should do the lower lash mascara. I cannot find it now, but I think she said that. And also she has this example of Billie Eilish that has like a lot of mascara on the under eyes. She also says like this is not the end all be all, like colors also come into play. So this could also just in the end not really work for me just because I am like of such a light coloring. All right, we're gonna do the contour. So I'm just gonna use this Kiko contour stick, sculpting stick in 200. And she says that we wanna kind of like soften the like edges of the face because I have such a square face. So we're gonna do the contour over here and over here. So really like where you have the like corners of the square, you're gonna soften it. So we're not really even talking about like putting it somewhere here. Like that's not what we're doing today. It's really about softening those edges and creating that balance. And usually I would put this kind of like all over my forehead as well. Like as far as I actually contour, because this is more of a bronzer stick for me, but we're using it as a contour today. And I would use it more across the cheek. But that is something that can actually visually like widen the face. Like a lot of the techniques that I was just talking about that kind of like are supposed to lift your face, actually widen your face. And then that means that if you have a wide face like I do, that could not work for you. So are we seeing the softening? Am I looking more like a perfectly balanced oval now? And usually I would put some of this on my chin, but we're not doing that today because that actually visually shortens the face. And the goal is to lengthen the face, not shorten the face. All right, for the blush, I think this might actually be a shocker for some of you, but the blush should be like here. Right here on the apples. And almost none of the blush should be over here. And so many tips on TikTok and videos, like if I see influencers doing their makeup, they're always placing the blush here. But that widens the face. And we're not trying to do that right now. Like you might still see me do that once in a while or maybe all the time. I don't know yet after this video. But if you see my blush placement right here, then you know what I'm doing and why. I can, however, place a little bit of a light toned blush over here. Like, but it should be very light. So I can do kind of like a switcheroo sunset blush look. I'm gonna start out with the Nabla Skin Glazing in Independence. She did also say that I can enhance the natural glow of my skin, but I should focus mainly on my eyes. So it is a little like strange in a way to place it here. It feels very like close to the middle of my face, and I'm kind of like, I want to blend it further. Like I want to do that, but I'm not doing that. But I think I'm gonna do that with a bit of a lighter blush in a sec. Like there's really on the photo like this tiny round on the cheeks. Like are we seeing this? Is this looking like slimmer? I think so. Like it's taking the focus away from the outer edges of my face. I feel like if you would do this in a video without explanation and just like leave it like this, a lot of people would be like, what are you doing with your blush? Are you crazy? Alright, so this is the blush placement of the first blush. I actually quite like it on myself. And I had been kind of doing this like once in a while. I've been kind of trying to focus it a little bit more there. I don't know where I heard it, but I think I saw a video with some like facial shape blush tips, like especially focused on what facial shape do you have. And I just thought, you know, I think I should like try to make everything look a little soft. I feel like it does also make me look quite youthful, which I already kind of do. So it is playing into that, but it's also, it's my face shape. Alright, I actually thought this is such a good job, like being the more outer blush for the Romand blushes. I have here the shade CO2. I don't know what this one was. Was it Blueberry Chip? Probably. Because this is very light. And I thought these are very light. Because they are very light on me. And I think that this is going to be very nice to put over here. Like if you do want a little bit like of that blend, slightly, like blend it slightly to the side. I feel like this is just a perfect color because you're not gonna go overboard because it's so light. Kind of like blending that together. You still get that focus. Like this is not a true full blush color on me, but it just gives you that blend. And by the way, I think I know what inspired me to do this type of blush placement. They actually, in Bridgerton, season 3, placed Penelope's blush very much just on the apples and blended it only slightly outwards. And I thought it was such an interesting technique. I was just like, yes, I want to do that too. Like, I'm gonna be doing it. Alright, this is going somewhere. I think I'm kind of getting used a little bit to the lower lash line, but maybe like a lighter color. Like maybe that first mauve would be like the best thing. Alright, for the highlighter, we are actually placing it in the inner corners. I already did that like automatically on the apples. So not taking it towards the back, just on the apples, on the nose bridge, on the chin. That's very interesting. I didn't realize that these were like possible placements for highlighter. I was just like, everybody is placing it over here. But okay, here I think is gonna be the most improvement in my techniques, like for my facial shapes, because I always placed it right over here. I placed it on the forehead. That widens the forehead, but I was feeling it. So I was widening my forehead. I was widening my face over here. I was actually placing often some blush or bronzer on here. I think I could bronze it up just a little bit, but I would have to like also put a little bit of a highlight there. I was never ever placing any highlighter on my nose. I am someone with a very like naturally shiny nose, but I'm gonna try it. I probably will just leave the nose as it is because it's already so shiny, but we're gonna try everything today and then decide. So I'm gonna take a little bit of the Moira Dreamlight highlighter in Honeysuckle. And the highlighter is allowed to overlap the blush. And we really just want the emphasis on the middle of the face. And I think this is so interesting because I have been having some issues with products creasing like right over here. And now like all my product is right over there. So this is like the perfect solution to more issues than I thought, probably. You never see anyone actually do this, I feel, on the internet. Like, it's so different from like what I see any influencer do. Okay, on the chin, that is interesting. And we're gonna take a small brush and placing it right over here. Shouldn't be like on the tip of the nose, but like I have natural highlight there, I cannot help it. I'm gonna emphasize it quite a bit because like I want you to see it. We are like lengthening the face by emphasizing like the whole middle here. Alright, so this is gonna be the face makeup. What do you think? For me, this was like slightly shocking. I do see it. And I feel like once we do the hair, like it's gonna be the biggest difference. Like sometimes you also just really have to get used to a look. But I do feel like optically lengthened. Alright, we're gonna do the lips. It has to be light. And I do feel like most days I do use a lighter lipstick, light to medium. And I feel like that also suits me best, but sometimes I will focus a little bit more on the lips, and I feel like I can do that because there is a balance. Like my lips and my eyes, they are both more like apparent. Like I have fuller lips, I have bigger eyes. So I feel like even though she isn't like saying that in this way in the analysis, like I feel like I can still pull that off in a certain way. It still shouldn't be too deep. Okay, so the lipstick that I want to use today is Lash by Nabla. This is a shine lipstick, and this is kind of like a cooler tone nude. I am gonna use a liner. I'm gonna use Queen Vibes by Catrice. I will link everything below. And then I'm applying Lash. It is not the lightest lip of my life, but I feel like you can also go like too light, too nude. Alright, so this is the makeup. I feel like the most shocking thing about the makeup really is like how I place my contour and blush and highlighter, and I do appreciate, I am happy that I am actually a high visual weight because I review makeup, like a lot of makeup. Like I am here on YouTube reviewing makeup, so it's good that, well, you can also review makeup with more natural looks, but I enjoy a little bit more of a dramatic look. So I'm happy about it. Alright, we're moving on to the hair. I feel like this video is gonna be like 2 hours long. So the hair is not as big, like there's not as much happening with the hair. So what works for me? Like we have some different suggestions. Today we are gonna do like a high ponytail with some like additions, with some like differences from what I usually do. But a lot of what is said here I feel is already kind of what I'm doing when it comes to like my loose hair. But the first option is face framing curls with a middle part. I feel like I already have like the face framing curls. I have the layers, but I have not focused that much on having a middle part, yes or no. I did have a middle part recently in a video. I'll put up a little clip so you can see how that looks. Usually I have kind of like a side part, slight side part when I have just done my hair, when I've just washed and blow dried it, and then kind of naturally throughout the week it becomes more of a middle part. But the middle part is better because I have these like corners here, and you kind of like just smooth them over. Like they are not as visible, they are not as apparent. So the middle part is the best. But I probably am still gonna like do a little bit like a slight side part because I do like how that looks. It's a little like slightly glamorous, I feel. So what I could also do is a thin curly baby hair bangs. So like really thin curls over here. When I first go to the hairdresser, she kind of like cuts like thin baby curls here, but like now it's been a few months since I've gone, and then they become thicker, longer curls. So but that is kind of like what I already like cut in my hair at first. An option is long layered curls. If I want a more glamorous look, I find long hair, like I've tried it, I find it to not suit me like as a whole so much because I feel like it makes me look shorter. I feel like shorter hair makes me look longer. It is more like about me being a very, very small person. So I will probably not do that, also because I just find waiting for it to get long, like kind of like tedious. And then once it is long, I get bored of it and I just cut it off. I know it doesn't work. And we have medium shoulder level layers. And this woman, the picture here, I feel like it looks like she kind of has my curl type. She kind of has my hair length. This is kind of what my hair looks like if I wear it in a middle part. So I feel like we're getting there with a few additions. The thing that I found really interesting is how I should wear my hair up. I feel like that is also where I have to get used to it a little bit most. It was the most shocking to me and the most interesting. Like this was the most helpful. Alright, so I should have volume on the top of my head. I already kind of knew that because I look really weird with like really pulled back hair. It just makes me look kind of bald. It makes me look out of proportion. I know that there are a lot of people saying like everybody looks good in a slick back bun. I would never wear that. It looks so bad. So we want the volume. So I can kind of like pull up the hair a little bit. We want a high ponytail. And then also we want to like kind of hide the hairline, like these parts of the hairline with some baby curls. So what I've been kind of doing lately is pulling out some hairs. But when I just like pull them out, they look a little like crazy. I cannot find now where she said this. I think I might also have made some conclusions myself. But I think that the ponytail should be like high up, so I'm gonna do that. This elongates my face. Like I feel like if you would put it lower, it would just drag it all like down and make it look shorter. Like we want the volume here. Then I pulled out the curls. I'm just gonna wet them a little bit and then they will like curl up like baby curls. All right, I have my water spray. I'm just gonna spray it in my hand and run that through the hair. And it needs to be pretty wet, otherwise it's gonna just look very frizzy. And I'm doing the hair after the makeup because this gets in the way so much. Like I've done my makeup with my hair like this. It gets really in the way. And yeah, I always have kind of like some shorter hairs at the front, but I just pull them back kind of. And now they're not pulled back. So we have the volume, we have the high ponytail, and we have the baby hairs. Like it's not a full fringe, but I feel like we kind of have the middle part effect here with like cutting off the like sharp corners. So this is kind of like how I applied her tips to how I also like to wear my hair. Like I like to have an option to wear my hair up, and I feel like this would be like the most balanced way. But I think like these baby curls are actually doing a lot for me. I feel like just pulling back my hair, what I used to do, really emphasized that hairline a lot. And even though I don't feel like I have like the biggest forehead in the world, that is also not what she's saying, but even though my forehead doesn't really bother me that much, I do see how it softens. And I also feel like with the hairstyle that I often do, where I take a clip and I kind of like clip my front like hair on my head, like I will show you a picture, it's hard to explain. With that as well, I feel like that is a great way to kind of like lengthen the face, but I just emphasize the forehead a lot. And I feel like even with that, if I pull out a little bit of those curls, I can like pull off a lot of looks with that, kind of like updos with that. I can do things like these, but I just have to kind of like pull out some curls, and I still am kind of like getting used to it. I hope Jenn agrees with me with this choice, because I really thought like this is just what I started doing from this analysis. But she also says this is not the end all be all, like see what works for you, try some things out. Like this analysis, like the way you look overall, there's so many parts playing in that, and it's also really about your coloring. It is about so many things. It's also about like how the rest of your body looks compared to your face. So I feel like this is like a starting point. I can start looking at things now. I can start trying things out now, but it's definitely not everything you need to know. So that is also what you want to keep in mind. If you decide you want your face analyzed too, like it is more of a starting point. I feel with color analysis, it's much more clear like what it is about. You know your color season and you're focusing on your colors. I feel like beyond that, you don't have to do much research about your color season. Like probably when you do a color analysis, you get a booklet, you get some colors, like you get a passport or something like that. And you can just kind of like start shopping with the advice that you get. But there's like a full facial analysis. Like there's so much going on with you. And like we have some like pinpointed like chosen topics that are talked about, but there's so much more. Like she doesn't talk here about sunglasses or glasses in general. Like this is something that you still have to like, I don't know if it's in the guide, but I think the guides are more about hair and makeup. Like sunglasses you can still look up yourself, like how does your like body type play into it. It is also in the like I have a soft coloring, like how does that work. Like there are so many things coming into play. So keep that in mind. Like this is just a start. You're getting a little bit of help, but there's still much you have to do yourself. Also, for example, earrings. I'm not wearing earrings right now, but I'm kind of guessing that my earrings should be a little longer to elongate my face. Let me see if I can find some earrings. Like maybe these? Because they are a little bit more like slim looking from the front and a little like elongated, but I don't know. Like what's good earrings for a square face? I'm still gonna look that up and see. Like I'm not gonna throw out any of my earrings, but that's also like part of the whole thing. Like there's so much you can say about a person's face and the way they look and their personal style. Like she also doesn't know me. She doesn't actually know my hair texture. Like it's all totally understandable. Like it's an online analysis. She has never met me, but I feel like going with this advice to your hairdresser, like she also says that use this advice and then also use the advice of your hairdresser. Like what is possible? What is it even possible? Overall, I am very happy with what I know now. I think it was a very interesting experience. Some of these things are just gonna, like they're gonna stick. Like I'm gonna keep them in mind. I'm gonna do them. I'm gonna use them. But it's definitely also not like you have to stop thinking now. Like you know everything. This is where it ends. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking. I can talk about this forever. Ask me questions in the comments if you want to know anything. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye!